Hello, I'm Diane. I'm a grad student who works in the University of Iowa Archives. I'm going to be trying making tea biscuits from a mid-1800s New England cookbook from the Szathmary Culinary Collection. So I found this recipe on the Iowa Digital Library, so let's take a look. So for the tea biscuits, you can see in this recipe, you have 2 pint bowls of flour, 1 teacup of butter, 2 teacups of milk, 1 teacup of emptines or yeast, and a little pearl ash. And there's no more instructions at the bottom, so you're gonna have to be a little creative for this one. So I did a little bit of research for some of the vague terms. Some of the more obvious ones, like 1 pint equals about 2 cups. A teacup was usually about 3/4 of a cup, so we're gonna estimate that a bit. And then the more obscure terms, emptines was an American term for homemade yeast made from the dregs of beer and hops, also called Yale yeast by the English. Now, I do not make homemade beer, so we're gonna have to substitute some store-bought yeast and put it in some water to approximate that one. And then pearl ash was an early form of baking soda that also helped bread to rise. So let's get those ingredients together and head into the kitchen. Alright, so I'm having the recipe, otherwise I think I'm gonna get quite a few tea biscuits. So I'm starting with my 1 pint, which is about 2 cups of flour, and I'm adding my half teacup of butter, which I already get melted here. Pour that in. And now for the yeast, because we don't have Yale yeast obviously, I'm going to take some just normal yeast. This is kind of an experiment based on what I read about rehydrating yeast before you use it. So I got some warm water here and a little bit of sugar to give it a bit of energy there and stir that up. I'm going to leave it for a few minutes until it's supposed to get bubbly. You can see that there. So hopefully the yeast is still good. It's been in my fridge for a little while, but hopefully that's still living in there. And then my 1 teacup of milk, which is half the recipe. Half of what the recipe called for. Stir that up. Alright, so our yeast is looking a little more bubbly here. See that? So it looks like it's still got some life in it, so I'm going to add the yeast. Hope that isn't too much water. Otherwise I have to add a little more flour maybe. Alright, and because we put the yeast in it, we're just going to let this rise for about an hour and see how that does, because that's what you normally do with bread. So that is my best guess for what might work for this recipe. I'm just going to cover that up, and we'll come back and check on it. Alright, so it doesn't look like it rose too much, but it's sticky. We're gonna pop some down and see how it goes. So I heat up the oven up to 400 degrees. Just gonna cook them for about 10 minutes. Alright, so they're out of the oven. We're gonna give them a try here. A little bland to be honest, but quite edible. I think if I did it again, I'd probably add a little more flour. I actually like puff them out and put them out a little more like scones. So thank you for joining us for pandemic baking. Hopefully this inspires you to make some recipes of your own, and have a good day.